So the relapse maybe just kick-started and opened that trauma that was undealt with from before.
Yeah, I know I probably look like a completely different person to you. I know, you know, and I can only imagine, you know, because I only remember half of it, you know what I mean?
You just asked if there was a Harley in the garage. Is there a Harley in the garage? Well, he just... Great. Stole the Harley.
Nobody ever questioned the fact that she was abused and that her panic attack was caught on camera. Yeah, just like when Reese was yelling and screaming at her, that was caught on camera. She sets the phone up, looks down at it to make sure it's recording, and then throws her face into her arms and acts like she's scared. Like, come the f*** on.
Here's the points. Listen, the points are this. Did Jessica Kent have a baby in jail? Yes, she did. Did Jessica Kent come home from jail? Yes, she did. Did Jessica Kent do everything she needed to do to get her daughter back? Yes, she did. Does Jessica Kent still have her daughter? Yes, she does. Has Jessica Kent been clean? Yes, she has. She struggled with alcohol.
This call is from a federal prison.
And she's trying to do her best as she can, as anyone in life can do. She's going through a fucking separation from an abusive asshole. And what? I mean, what more can you put this girl through?
Let me call her real quick, and I'm sure I'm already in the shit house for not being there.
Do you want this officer to contact you just to see if you're here? Okay.
Yes.
I'm not answering that.
You're good though?
I'm
Are you
good.
safe? You feel safe?
I don't know. People come to my house.
Yeah, I've never met you before. That's a very strange thing to happen to you.
What's up, you guys? Welcome to episode 3. So I have shared a lot of stuff just in the first 2 episodes, and this episode is going to be the same in that sense, but I decided that it would be probably better if I kind of pop in throughout today's episode to explain just a little bit, because I think that some things are going to be lost in translation if I don't pop in and say, hey, this is what's happening right here. Okay, cue the clip, because, you know, there's so much information being thrown at you guys in these episodes, and it kind of moves fast, and it's, you know, a wild and emotional ride. So I'm going to be popping in today throughout this episode to kind of be like, hey, that's what's happening there. I did a live stream Q&A a couple of weeks ago, and that was so helpful for me because hearing what you guys were saying and talking about and hearing your questions just really helped me kind of hone in what I want to do for the rest of this series. And I really appreciate that. If you could just continue to do that in the comment section, that would be so helpful. The goal of the docuseries is not to talk crap about my ex. The goal of the series is to shed a light on narcissistic abuse, domestic violence, mental health, substance use disorder, and the recovery journey, just getting out of a toxic relationship or a narcissistic relationship or domestic violence. I don't have my PhD. I cannot diagnose my ex with narcissistic personality disorder. However, I know that the things that I was experiencing was narcissistic abuse. That is a hard line in the sand for me personally. I know what I experienced. I know what I'm currently trying to heal from, so that's just what it is. And the reason why I said that is because I do include a lot of clips where we discuss narcissistic abuse, financial abuse, gaslighting, emotional abuse, all kinds of things, and it all kind of like centers to and kind of points at narcissism. That's why those clips are going to be in there. It is October, which means it is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and I think that it just is so important to understand what domestic violence is, what it looks like, how different it can be from person to person, relationship to relationship, and really understand what the survivor is going through, because leaving a narcissistic relationship is going to be different than any other relationship that you've ever left before. It is just a whole different animal. They will punish you for leaving, and please know it takes so much courage and bravery to leave. So I wanted to run through a list of things that I wish I did differently, or I wish that I knew, or things that I would suggest if you are going through a similar situation and you are trying to leave. It is not easy to leave. It is not going to be easy. There are going to be so many challenges along the way, and it's going to feel overwhelming, and it's scary. It is really scary to leave. It takes so much strength and courage and bravery, and you have to kind of train your mind to believe that you're strong enough. You probably don't feel like it if you're going through that. I didn't. I was tired as hell. I didn't feel strong. I felt weak, and that was kind of a tactic as well. I was kept exhausted and just worn out and just sleep deprived and hungry and just all kinds of things. He didn't starve me. I couldn't eat because I was so upset, and I was crying myself to sleep if I could even sleep, and I was not eating because I had no appetite, and it was really, really hard when I was trying to navigate leaving. So I'm going to kind of run through some things that I wrote down that I hope help if you're going through it. Before I get to the list, I kind of want to circle back to something that I had just mentioned. I said that it's really hard to leave a narcissistic person or toxic person or what have you. And the reason why it's so hard is there's all of their abuse, right? And it's this big freaking dumpster fire. And it's very loud, it's a bonfire. Several dumpsters worth of bonfires. There's the fire of abuse, all the things that they're doing. Let's just say they are, they're keeping you tired, you're fighting all night long, they're gaslighting you, you have these circle conversations, you're worn out, you can't eat because you're so upset. They give you the silent treatment, which literally causes physical pain in our brain. Like, narcissistic abuse causes literal brain damage, but they're doing all this shit, right? So the dumpster fires on fire is that side of why it's hard, because you question, like, should I be leaving this person? I love this person. Why can't we get back to what it used to be? Which it never gets back to what it used to be, because what it used to be wasn't real and they can't continue with that facade. But there's this dumpster fire of abuse, gaslighting, silent treatment. Maybe they leave for days at a time. Maybe they're using substances. Maybe they are cheating. Maybe they are taking your things. In my personal experience, my ex would take my laptop, my car keys, my phone at times, my wallet, just anything that he could possibly take to get me to apologize to him. I would try to confront him about things, and he would immediately go to the things that he knew would get me to apologize to him. And the big one, the fastest way for me to apologize to him for something he did to me would be for him to try to drink and drive. Those moments where we would have these huge fights, these circle conversations where I'm just like, this is your Uber receipt, dude. This is where you went. I know what you did. I saw your Cash App. I know what you're doing. I know that, right? Anyway, we'd have these big fights. He would blame me. He would say, look at what you're doing. I can't come home for 2 weeks without you doing this to me. It's like, what? I'm trying to talk to you about some shit that you did to me. Like, 2.5 weeks ago. You've been gone for 2 weeks. You seem a little clear today. Can we have this conversation? But there's never a good time to confront a narcissist. There's never a good time to try to hold them accountable. You're never gonna have a good time. Maybe they had a really bad day at work, or they had a really good day and you're ruining it, or it's football Sunday, or just whatever the fuck. It's never a good time, because they're gonna blame shift and avoid accountability. And I get caught in this web where at the end of it, my medication is gone, my wallet is gone, my laptop is gone, my car keys are gone. Then he'd hide my shit back in like random places, like my vehicle, and he'd say things like, your laptop's in your car the whole time. I looked in there before I went to bed last night, and now at 11 a.m. the next day, it's just magically in the driver's seat or the passenger seat. Shut up, dude. No, it's not. I would get so triggered and I'd be so tired, and I would try to have these conversations where we could get to the bottom of something and maybe resolve something, and he would immediately try to jump in the truck and try to drive drunk. Well, guess what? I'm gonna apologize to you for all the shit you did to me. I'm sorry. Please just come inside. Please don't drink and drive. Please call an Uber. Call a friend. I'll drive you somewhere. Where are you trying to go? Anything to get him from drinking and driving. And whatever the trigger is for you, that toxic person, that narcissistic person, they know what that trigger is, and they will do that every time. So there's the dumpster fire of abuse and gaslighting and fighting and all that stuff, right? Then on the other side of it, the more scientific side of it, your body has gone through so much shit that you literally become addicted to the chaos of this relationship. You get high highs and low lows, and when you're at the low lows, like the silent treatment would be a low low, your brain seeks that person out in the same way that a heroin addict would seek out heroin, the same way that a alcoholic would seek out alcohol for that hit of dopamine. Your reward system in your brain treats these relationships the same exact way as a drug, and it is very hard to, in a sense, like detox from that person, because you become addicted to this person, codependent on this person. They make you slowly over time think that you cannot live without them. And the longevity of these relationships depend on how submissive you are, how ignorant you are to their behavior. How much are you willing to take? How often are you willing to forgive them and turn a blind eye? Because one of the biggest mistakes I ever made in that relationship was I forgave him for like horrible shit. I've seen a lot of comments online where people are saying the narcissist doesn't even know what they're doing is abusive. They're just so wrapped up in their own shit, in their own personality, in their own disorder, that they don't even realize what they're doing is abuse. To that I say bullshit. To that I say, okay, and don't do this. Don't try this at home. This is just for argument's sake. This is how I know that a narcissist or toxic person, whatever, because I can't diagnose anyone, I don't have a PhD. I would definitely get a law degree before a PhD. Not the point. If you treat a narcissist the same way that they are treating you, it will not be okay. All of a sudden, you are like the worst person in the entire world, and they could have done the exact same thing to you, but if you do it to them, it's the fucking end of the world. They will never forgive you. They'll never let it go. They will like get you to act out of character, and then when you act out of character because of their emotional abuse, sometimes physical abuse, when you act out of character and defend yourself, guess what? Your reaction's the problem. So treat a narcissist the way that they're treating you, and you will see that they know that's not okay. They'll use the same verbiage that you're using. They'll say that you're gaslighting. They'll try to make you think that you're the abuser. I got a phone call, so I'm not exactly sure what I was even saying, but narcissistic or toxic people, they will not take accountability. They'll blame shift. If you guys watch episode 2, you will see like a 40-minute video of me and my ex, and every single time I ask him a hard question, he kind of blame shifts. He says,
we both did this to each other. We physically hurt each other. We abuse each other. We did this. Everyone has narcissistic tendencies.
Every single time I try to get like a direct answer that would be accountability or acknowledgement even, it is just immediately put back onto me. Some narcissistic or toxic people, they will like research all of this stuff and even go to therapy just to learn how to manipulate you better, how to control you better. They'll use the same verbiage that we're using to say, hey, you're abusing me, you're gaslighting me. I know what happened, I know the reality of it. You can't do that. Like, no, I had a very different experience last week, Kyle. We all respond differently because we all have our own past traumas, triggers, personalities, hardwiring in our brain. For me personally, I am neurodivergent, severe ADHD, and there are a lot of parallels between ADHD and autism, but I have sensory issues. And for me, like sometimes I just get so overwhelmed from the sounds and the lights and the kids running around and a TV on, and like I get so overwhelmed and overstimulated that it feels like 20 people are screaming in my mind. So learning how your own mind works and figuring out how to navigate that while also healing, it's a lot of work. It's not for the faint of heart, but it's important to learn your own triggers, your own traumas, how your brain is hardwired and how your brain works. And, you know, as you're navigating how to heal after a relationship like this, it's just important to know how your brain works. I think everyone needs to go see a therapist and get a diagnosis because it's just information about you that helps you figure out how to take better care of yourself. So wanted to throw that in there. Okay, so let me go through a couple of different lists that, you know, I wish that I understood in the moment. And if you're still with an abusive person, toxic person, narcissistic person, these things, these tools are very valuable. The first one, don't react. They want to get an emotional response out of you so that they can go do whatever the hell it is that they're doing and then blame you because you're always fighting with them or you're crazy or whatever. Don't react. They might accuse you of like the most crazy shit, the most foul shit, which is probably a confession because it's probably some shit that they did, but they're gonna accuse you of it, and it's a natural thing to want to defend yourself. It's also a trauma response to constantly want to defend yourself. And I've kind of been like conditioned and hardwired all year long from everything that I've gone through in my professional life, on the internet, my personal life at home, all of it. I've just kind of been conditioned to defend myself and come through with receipts for receipts and screenshots and all that shit. Don't react, don't defend yourself. So that's 1 and 2. Don't react, don't defend. Don't engage in these conversations with them that are just going to end up in a circle. And I'm gonna include a couple of clips here from some creators that are incredible, and they really bring a lot of value and education to this topic. And they've helped me figure out like some stuff that I was doing that definitely wasn't helping anybody, especially myself and my own mental health and my own peace. refusing to engage with them, that can look differently for every single person. For me, I would kind of like disassociate, and I would be so anxious that I would start like picking at my hair, or I'd pick at my lips, or I'd pick at my fingers. Having a poppet would probably be way better, but I would just be it would be so overwhelming for me, and I would be so anxious and so triggered that I would just want to do anything else to keep my mind off of it. You know, whether that is picking at my lip, picking at my hair, you know, just anything to take the focus off of what is happening and what is going on. And that is just crazy, because I never did that before. I never picked at my hair before. I never picked at my fingertips. There have been moments throughout my life that I've been really overwhelmed and like kind of picked at my lip before. The more elevated I got, the more trauma I endured over time has caused like new things to happen in my brain and all of that, and it's just important information. So even if it is picking at your hair, try to focus on something else, maybe a stress ball, a poppet. Try to block out some of the things that they're saying, even if it's just for a minute or two. The likelihood for you to engage with them, if you are taking in less of what they're saying because your mind is somewhere else, the more likely you are to be successful in not engaging with them. This is like the last thing to stop doing if you are still currently in that, or even if you've left. Stop expressing your feelings to this person. They don't give a shit about your feelings. They don't care. They know how you feel. They know what they did. They don't care. They don't care. And when you do try to express your feelings to that person, they take it's almost like they take enjoyment out of it, or pleasure out of like getting these responses from you. When you express your feelings to them, they are just taking a mental catalog of how you're feeling, how you're doing, and they're gonna use that later. And this is really important in the beginning, because shit is so good in the beginning. They're like on their best behavior, they seem perfect, they're charming, they're funny, you love being around them. Then they pull back slowly. It's kind of like the lobster in the boiling pot situation. When you put a lobster in water, you turn up the heat, it's just slowly cooking them alive until one day you're like, holy shit, are you cooking me alive? They're like, yeah, I'm gonna eat you. I'm gonna throw some butter on you. It's gonna be fire, dog. And you're like, what? So it's the lobster in the boiling pot scenario. They get a little fix off of that, off of you telling them how you feel. And in the beginning, when you're telling them your experiences, what you went through, some hard moments, like you're really getting to know each other. You feel like you're connecting on a deep level. They're gonna share intimate things with you. You're gonna share intimate things with them. What they are doing is they are just like this, like, not physically, I'm being dramatic. They're gonna tuck that away. They're gonna put it in their wallet, their purse. They're gonna tuck that little note away of all the things that bother you, upset you, trigger you, relationships that didn't work out. They're gonna attack that, prey on that. They're gonna try to pit this person against that person because that's gonna affect you somehow. They're just mentally, saving all of this information and data, and that's going to come out later in this narcissistic or toxic or abusive relationship. That'll all come back later to hurt you, and it's insane. Just my personal, very biased opinion, it would be easier to like not be a fucking asshole, and like not hurt people and just be like a regular person. Like if you have narcissistic personality disorder, that means you're like hella fucking insecure, cool, and you have to stand on someone else to feel tall. Weird energy. It would just make more sense in my mind to do the work to not be that way. Oh, if you're insecure about this, figure out a way to do better or change it, or, like it just is weird to me that people want to stand on other people to try to feel tall. I don't fucking understand it. They want to control you and manipulate you, and you're doing the literal most. You're doing the literal most, Kyle. My advice for planning on leaving a person like I've described, number one, know and understand that it's going to be very difficult. It's going to be hard. You're going to have to sacrifice things. That could be friendships, maybe even a job, maybe a whole ass town, material possessions, financial resources even. There's going to be a lot of sacrifices that you're going to have to make on this road to leaving a narcissistic, toxic, or abusive person. So understand that and sit with that, because I know that is a large part of the reason why a lot of people stay. But then I want you to physically write down with a pen and a piece of paper, not your notes on your phone. I want you to physically write down what your life looks like outside of this relationship. What are all the things that you can't do now that you really want to go do? And I know that that's easier said than done, because for me personally, I could not picture my life without my ex. I had this vision for our life together till the end of time, and staying in the same home so my kids had that stability. And I had this whole idea, a lot of expectations. just a whole vision for my life. And I kind of had to mourn that loss too, because guess what? Life looks different now. We're going this way, and that's okay. It is okay. And I know I've said this before, but 2 peaceful households are 1,000 times better than 1 toxic one. And you can't just lead with words. You can't just tell your kids, hey, don't ever date a person like this. You have to show them. You have to be strong for them if you're a parent and going through this. It is so important to lead by example. But I know that my girls will know that if, God forbid, you are ever being treated this way, that is unacceptable. Never accept it. Not okay. Leave. Call me. This should probably be number 1. Plan leaving. Plan your exit strategy. Now, this could look like tucking money away, and you can very easily create a bank account online where even if it's like $5 a week, anything, just start putting money away. That way you have something to fall back on, because if you're going through a financially abusive situation, every penny counts. And it is very important to have an exit strategy. Number 3, and I wish I did this a lot sooner, reach out to someone and let them know what you're going through. Someone that you trust. If you don't have anyone in your life to reach out to just let them know, hey, I'm gonna check in with you every single day at this time. This is my plan. What I'm going through is abuse. I'm afraid to leave, but I'm creating my plan. If you don't have someone in your life like that you can go to and say, hey, this is the situation, then I recommend looking up the resources in your city. There's domestic violence shelters. There are just a lot of resources for people trying to leave these relationships. In Illinois, there is an advocacy group called Mutual Ground, and there's a ton of resources, and I will link that in the description box down below. If you have a therapist, that would be a really good option as well. Tell them like, hey, this is my plan, this is my strategy. That way you have the emotional support and also someone to be there to just kind of check in with and vent to. And for me personally, I had somebody that knew I was going to text them every single night at the same time, just a little code word that we had so that they knew that I was okay, and then I deleted the thread every time. So yeah, that was that. Get a flip phone or burner phone or some phone that you can have to call for help if you need it, because a lot of times in these very toxic, domestically violent, narcissistic, abusive, toxic relationships, that abuser will try to cut off your resources for communication, transportation, financial stuff. So have a phone that you've hidden somewhere or left somewhere or anything that you can use in an emergency situation that they don't know about. Number 5, don't tell them where you're going. Don't give them a forwarding address. Try your absolute best to conceal where you're going to physically be. I failed at that. I was kind of convinced and manipulated into going to Arkansas on the day that I closed on the house that I own. And he came with me, and I kind of just let people that had no business telling me what to do throughout the process of buying this house. I let them kind of tell me, oh, he just wants to be involved. Oh, he just wants to be part of it. And that played on my empathy, and that is how that happened. But he got my address before I even lived here. So try your absolute best to not, to conceal where you are staying. This next one might seem kind of silly, but it's not. So it really helped me to do positive affirmations, and I felt so dumb doing them at first, telling myself every day, you are strong enough to do this, you are a bad bitch, you are gonna get up off the floor, and you're gonna make it fucking happen. You got this, let's go. I would tell myself that daily, and then, I started doing positive affirmations with my girls, not the same verbiage, obviously. I am beautiful, I am strong, I am smart, I am kind. Saying these things out loud helps. I needed so much reassurance during the process of leaving, and I didn't have a plan. I just, on a whim, I flew back from LA because I was filming on the set with Jubilee, and the next morning I immediately got up and got a storage unit, and I just on a whim left and stayed in a hotel for 2 months. It is kind of okay if you don't have a plan. I'm a Virgo, I need to plan shit out. That helps me feel more, secure and safe. But I know there's some Sagittariuses out there. They just, we're going. Okay, shit. You're already 17 miles down the road. I'm still trying to, look up directions. Google reviews for the restaurant that you're already at. Okay, great. I tried to create a plan, but I knew I just didn't have the balls to do it. I was scared. I was really scared. So one day on a whim, I decide I'm gonna get a storage unit. I'm gone. This isn't safe. It's not safe. Get the fuck up and get out. And I just bolted. I just reacted and I just, I left. I don't even know where he was at the time, but not at the house. And I got as much stuff as I possibly could while the girls were in school. And when they got out of school, we stayed in a hotel for like 2 months. And you guys know the story. But sometimes making a plan is just not realistic. Sometimes when you get the freaking courage to do it, sometimes you just need to act on that. Because I don't know what, if I hadn't have left in that moment, I never would have left. And I knew that. And that realization to me that day was so overwhelming. Like, the idea of staying was so much more terrifying than the idea that this would be my reality. This fucked up shit would be my story. That was so overwhelming to me that day that I just left, I know that I'm speaking from a place of privilege as well, and I don't ever want to make a video about this topic without acknowledging that, because my situation is very different. I'm on a lot of platforms. It is no secret. I get paid for the videos that I post on these platforms. I'm in a very privileged position, and that's why I think it's so important that I speak out and that I share my story. And if I have not mentioned this, the only person that benefits from silence is the abuser. But at the same time, we don't always have the strength as survivors to share our story. Sometimes it's better to stay silent. We are all different in the way that we respond to everything, right? And I wanted to say that because this is very difficult for me. I have, as most of you know, I spent like 10 months being victim blamed on the internet by a group of women, which is even fucking harder for me to digest. But I'm taking this on because it's what I've always done. It's why you guys subscribed in the first place, because I share my story to help other people. And this is different because it is ongoing and it's hard and it's all of the things. But if this series helps save one life, then it was all worth it, October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And oftentimes those that are physically abusive are also emotionally abusive. And emotional abuse and financial abuse is some of the most gaslit shit I've ever seen in my entire life. And I don't know why that is, because mental health is just gaslit, period. I don't know why it is that when someone sees bruises or a broken bone or a physical injury, they are more likely to have empathy than with all the other stuff. I left last year. It's been almost a year. Oh my God, actually, wait, the 12th? It's almost a year to the day that I left. And it's not like a regular breakup. I'm still going through so much shit. There's post-separation abuse that I'm going through, and it's very hard. It's very hard to like untangle this web in my mind. Then you throw on top of all that, this smear campaign and the victim blaming from all of these women. And in a sense, I'm grateful that it's happening, because I would never understand how bad it is. I knew that society victim blames survivors of these things. I just didn't know how bad it was until it happened to me. If your partner is being emotionally abusive to you, the chances of them eventually getting physically abusive are really high. I know these are hard conversations. I know that what you're going through is so hard, but you are 10 times stronger than you even realize. I wish I could sit here and say I'm on the other side of that, where I'm proud of myself or strong or completely healed and recovered from this person. But I'm not yet, and I'm almost a year to the day out. By the way, what I am doing is not a smear campaign. The truth and facts, not a smear campaign. That other side, that's a smear campaign. But it doesn't even matter, because, it matters, but these conversations are so important, and I am, doing everything I can to keep myself safe, keep my babies safe, and do all of the other things via the legal system that you will see play out in this series. The drama channels and the smear campaigns and the videos made about me and just all of the things, it just compounded my abuse. And I want to be very loud and very clear when I say this. Cyberbullying, to the point where someone almost takes their own life, is involuntary manslaughter, and that carries up to 15 years in prison. So if you are harassing someone so badly, cyberbullying them so badly that they self-delete, that is involuntary manslaughter, and you can go to fucking prison for it. There are creators that are habitually doing this, and karma will catch up with you.
I've done some research and think my husband is a covert narcissist. Can you describe a covert narcissist? And what do I do if I'm married to one? Okay, both very good questions. Here's my answer. The covert narcissist is not an obvious, in-your-face, grandiose, selfish jerk. He is a narcissist, all right, but his style is subtle, indirect, passive-aggressive. You will probably be the only one who sees the narcissism and the damage he does to you and your kids. He'll fool the rest of the world, almost literally. The covert narcissist can be quiet, unassuming, and very helpful to others. He serves neighbors, family members, friends, people in the community, and your church. He must be the greatest guy in the world. Everybody loves him. If he dropped dead today, the church would be full for his funeral services. There wouldn't be a dry eye in the building. At home, it's a different story, of course, and you're living the nightmare. His needs come first. It's still all about him, but he gets his way with more subtle strategies. He is extremely sensitive to any criticism. Any criticism, no matter how lovingly presented, is a personal attack. He'll act hurt, deeply wounded, and play the victim, the martyr, and he'll do it beautifully, masterfully. He won't verbally blast you, typically, as the covert narcissist, but he won't blow up in rage. But he'll be hurt. He'll be sad. How could you do this to me? Your valid criticism, your feelings, your point of view, it all wiped out because the focus is on his hurt feelings. You end up having to apologize to him. The covert narcissist is passive-aggressive. When he's upset with you, he'll deny being angry, but he will pay you back. Oh, you better believe he will. He'll shut down. He'll give you the silent treatment until you break and say you're sorry to him. He's a master of gaslighting you. The covert narcissist is a supreme gaslighter. He'll make you doubt yourself, doubt your memory, doubt your sanity. He'll say with complete sincerity, I didn't say that. I didn't do that. That's not what happened. He will deny the truth, blame you, and cleverly manipulate and control you. What can you do with a covert narcissist? Well, Dr. Clark to the rescue. That's why I wrote my book, Enough is Enough. This book is for overt narcissists and covert narcissists, or actually those living with both. It's going to help you get ready to leave him before he drives you crazy and does more damage to you and your children. Just about everyone you know will think you're crazy for leaving this wonderful man. You're going to lose the PR battle almost across the board, other than your key supporters. But this wonderful man is destroying you. My Enough is Enough plan is the same, again, no matter what narcissist you've got on your hands.
So this next clip is body cam footage of U-Haul moving day one, is what I'm going to call it. On this day, we had an agreement to, for me to show up with a U-Haul to get the rest of my belongings. Now that was furniture, kids' furniture, toys, and just boxes of stuff that I had left there, baby books. I had a lot of things still left in the house, and we had been going back and forth, and I was arguing and fighting in court, and it was just such a hellish ordeal. I was so happy when we agreed on it because I'm like, okay, great, I'm finally going to be able to just get my stuff, get the kids' stuff, because they really wanted some of their things, some of their furniture and Squishamallows, all the important things to them. So I was very relieved that we're gonna get this over with today. It's gonna take a couple of hours to get the stuff, and it's gonna be over. That is not how that went down. So we show up with a U-Haul, and I had parked way down the street, 4 or 5 houses down. Jason's driving the U-Haul. He backs into my ex's driveway, gets the thing out, puts it down, knocks on the door. I needed a little bit of time because I was so anxious. So I had parked really far down the street so that I could just take a minute and breathe, and then, take the couple of minutes to walk down the street. And that was how I was kind of trying to calm myself down, because I'm just, I was very triggered that day to be there. I had a lot of anxiety that day. Well, as I'm kind of breathing and I'm about to get out of the car, Jason calls me and he's like, get down here, let's go. He's not letting me in. I'm in the back. He's just drunk with some girl. And I'm like, oh, great. So the time it takes me to walk down to the house, that is no longer time that I'm taking to breathe and try to become more calm. This is now, I'm more stressed out, I'm more anxious, I'm more whatever, and my brain is just racing at what the hell is he gonna do now? What is happening? I kind of looked through the back door into the living room, and he was sitting on the couch drinking a beer, and he had 2 love seats, and there's a woman sitting on one of the love seats, and it's noon and they're drinking beer. Cool. Don't care, let me in, like let us just get our stuff. It'll take a couple hours, who cares? Like what's the issue? Well, my ex comes to the back door and he said he's gonna call the cops, and I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, you have a warrant, but you're gonna call the cops on me because I'm here to get my stuff on the day that we agreed? What? Like, do you know how much this U-Haul just cost? So now I'm like, are you kidding? Okay. And Jason's he has a basketball. He's kind of just playing basketball. He's like, call the cops. You know, he doesn't care. Jason does not care. He's thinking like, okay, well, the cops are gonna come. They're gonna talk to my ex, and they're gonna take him to jail because he has a warrant. You know, we're not doing anything wrong. So my ex calls the cops, and you're gonna see all of that. They ask about the order of protection a bunch of times, and I'm like, why are they asking that? Like, it's my understanding that when he called them to report me being in violation of the order of protection. However, and I don't even process it in that moment. I was just so elevated. I'm like, yeah, I'll find the order of protection. I'll find it. Well, the order of protection was changed and amended and re-amended, and there was all these remedies on it, and it was super fucking complicated. And I wasn't prepared to show cops paperwork in that moment. So I'm scrolling through like the 5,000 pictures I have in my phone trying to find the order, because they were saying it's expired. It was not expired. The court just did not file it correctly. I'm trying to figure out why they're even asking me for that, and the reason was he called and said that I was in violation of the order, but that's not how it works, because the order of protection was against him. Orders of protection can be as lenient or as strict and specific as you need them to be, and that's kind of something that a lot of people don't know. Like, I was able to put my vehicle, that I had to give him back, I was able to put my vehicle as protected property because it is shared mutual property for our children, and that just protected me from not being stranded for a vehicle that I paid for. So I had showed the judge in the original order of protection that I made payments on this vehicle. I'm the only person taking care of our kids. I'm transporting our kids. I'm the custodial parent, and my ex has a vehicle. And there's really no reason for him to want this back in this moment right now without giving me time to get another vehicle. Anyway, they can be very specific, they can be very lenient, or it could just be straight up no contact. So it was changed and amended and changed and amended. So at this point, I'm just like, why do they even need that right now? That's why, because the reason for the call was because he said I was in violation of the order, which is not accurate. He couldn't come to my place because he would be in violation of the order. But if I went to his place, there would be no violation for me because the order of protection is on him. I'm not saying violate a court order. If there is no contact or if there's an order of protection, follow the remedies, follow what that says. But the cycle of abuse and the cycle of domestic violence is crazy. And there were several times where I kind of bent to his will, and I'm like, yeah, you can come over, or you can do this, or sure, you can call, whatever. Because at a certain point, it becomes easier to appease him, you know, than it is to just fight it and say the court order says this. I wanted to fight back. I wanted my kids' stuff. I wanted the baby books. I wanted furniture that I paid for. I mean, at that point, he had cost me just thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. I don't recommend doing this, but we're all different, you know. We all respond to trauma and all of that differently. You know, in this moment, I'm so anxious. I'm picking at my hair. I'm so elevated, and it's just crazy. So there are moments where, you know, the cop had said something to me, and I'm like, okay, I'll find the order of protection. But I'm kind of just, I don't even know what the word is. You know, I know that I'm trying to like pick at my hair to like disassociate from all of this, and I'm just, you know, I'm super, super anxious, and I continuously try to calm myself down. And this clip is just, it's painful for me to watch. I don't personally recommend trying to even go get your possessions from your abuser. I certainly wouldn't have done it if I didn't have Jason on my side and with me, because if it was just me trying to go there and get my stuff with like a professional moving company or something, I wouldn't have felt safe. And it just would have been, I mean, this is very dramatic, and Jason's very frustrated, and I understand that. But, you know, we were not expecting it to go this way. We were expecting to just have it be peaceful. But I don't recommend trying to fight back and get your belongings unless you have like a team of people or a police escort or anything like that. Don't try to go alone. Don't try to do really anything with an abusive partner that you're trying to co-parent with and also legally being forced to co-parent with. And they counter-parent. I mean, let's just keep it real. They counter-parent. It is extremely frustrating. So this next clip is body cam footage of that day.
Sophia, this is information. Orchard and Garden, Cynthia, Blackhead, going out of Chicago, Glass 21, Street.
120. There's a caller on scene for this. Who was the middle that had a suspected warrant? One 23. Good, how are you? How can I help you here?
Okay, so it's a little complicated.
Okay.
We have.
What's your name, ma'am?
My name's Jessica.
Jessica, okay. Is your last name Kent?
It is.
What's your name, sir?
Jason Forster.
Forster?
So we have an agreement today to come get the rest of my belongings from Judd's house. And he's.
Whose house is this?
This is Judd Klein's.
Okay, is he here right now?
Yes, he is.
He is here.
With a firearm. He said he's going to shoot.
He also has a warrant for his arrest for domestic violence. He said it's very messy. And we showed up like we were supposed to get everything, and he's, not letting us get our stuff.
Being violent right now and yelling and screaming? Threatening you with a firearm?
When did he threaten you just now?
Just now.
2 seconds ago.
I got a gun right now. I said, you ain't got a gun, you got what is it? Order protection on you. You can't have a firearm. It's like, I got a gun.
Alright, let me get everyone's information. So I got your information. But have you been moved out for a while now?
So, yeah, a little bit. And we've been fighting in court. There's lawyers and motion after motion for all of
But you don't no longer reside here, technically, correct?
I do not.
Do you live here at all?
No.
We're, like I said, we're just here to get the rest of my stuff, furniture, and he has an itemized list and everything.
Okay. Did you go to court for the list of what you're going to take out or no? So what's exactly going on? Are you getting divorced right now, or is this...
Separation.
Separation, but
Okay.
it's messy because he's violent and, I have to re-explain this every time. So, yeah, separated.
Okay.
And there was an emergency order of protection, but we've gone back several times to amend it and then re-amend it and try to work it out peacefully, but he doesn't choose peace.
Okay, so you're saying there's an order against him, is what you're saying?
There is,
Because I went in the system, so far I got nothing coming up with you at all. What's his last name?
Klein, C-L-I-N-E.
C...
Judge Reese Klein.
Hold on one second. His last name is what?
C-L-I-N-E.
C-L-I-N-E. What's his first name?
Judd, J-U-D-D.
I'm sorry.
J-U-D-D.
J-U-D-D. Does he have a middle initial?
R.
Birthday? No. Give me one second. Sure.
License status valid. Wanted person. Local warrant hit. NCIC person clear.
Okay. That guy, if his name is Klein, Jude, he doesn't have a warrant. But let me just figure out this whole situation first, because they're... Is he here? They're claiming that he's inside, and that he threatened them with a firearm to leave. It's his house. So, let's see what's going on first. Who is he to you?
He's the father of my kids.
Father of your kids? What's his last name?
Oh, this guy?
Yeah.
Oh, he's my friend.
He's your friend? What's your last name, sir?
My first name is Jason, J-S-O-N. Forster, F-O-E-R-S-T-E-R.
Yeah, middle initial?
5'11", 300 pounds.
What's your phone number, sir? Okay, so here's the thing. I ran both their names. There's no order of protection in the system at all.
There is no order of protection. Is Officer Svoboda back for medical leave yet?
Sergeant Swoboda is not back yet. I'm just saying we've had dispatch ran it. I've ran you. They've ran you. I've ran him. There is no order of protection right now.
There's no warrant for him?
I'm not saying that.
There's a
I'm
warrant for
going to
him.
knock on his door.
He just threatened me with a gun too.
I just
Also
want
on
my
his
stuff.
property. I'll still try to talk
There's
to
no
him.
trespassing signs posted. There's nothing posted.
But we worked
There's
this
no law
out.
state
Hold on.
no
Let me
trespassing
finish talking here. So, do you have a key to the place or no?
Probably. I mean, my driver's license still says this house.
No, do you have an actual physical key? Do you live here anymore?
He changes the locks all the time. I don't live here.
I mean, here's the thing. I can go there and knock on the door and try to talk to him. And, like, if he answers the door, it's him. Sure, why not? But, like, if he tells you can't go in, you can't go in.
Right. I'm here for my stuff. We worked
I
this out with our
I understand that.
So you can break court orders and there's no...
What court order are you talking about right now?
There is an order of protection.
But I'm telling you right now, it's not in the system. I've ran, and I'm sure he ran it too.
I didn't run it, but
Okay.
Dispatch said it's not there, then it's not there. I'm not saying there's not one.
Okay.
But if you don't
do you have paperwork at all?
I do on my phone.
Okay.
We just went back to court 2 weeks ago.
Has it been put in the system at all?
Yes. Because we've been. It was the emergency order of protection, and then we went back like 2 or 3 times, and it's just exhausting.
I ran a truck and all this stuff more expensive for him to just see. No. Come on, man. This is fucking ridiculous. Give her a shit. She's got receipts for all the shit.
So, wait, I have the amended
You can get the
one.
number off that one and go.
This is the first one, but it was amended. I can find the new one too.
This was January
It's been amended.
25th.
It's been amended.
I know. Do you have the one that's amended?
Let me look. It just makes everything as impossible as you can.
Yeah, place until 27th March 2023.
Right, so...
This one's currently, but do you have one that's actually valid?
Yeah, we just went back 2 weeks ago. It's crazy, right? We're just frustrated. It's not
No, I
our
get
fault.
it. It's expensive. You got to spend money to do all this.
Yeah, and it's like, you show up here, we know you got a warrant because you didn't fill out the paperwork for it. And now you guys are worried about court order protection. There is one. You should be knocking on the door about his warrant.
Oh, we're still going to knock on the door.
Knock all day, but if he doesn't come to the door, we can't keep the door in.
He was letting me with a firearm. That's probable cause.
Okay. Show me, this is going to piss you off, but where's your proof that he pointed the gun at you?
Yeah.
Right? Right?
Hey.
Right.
No.
I'm not saying he didn't do it. I'm just saying we can't just... the neighbor can come out and say, hey, he pointed a gun at me too. Still can't do it.
If the neighbor came out and said I punched him in the face, you'd arrest me right now.
If you're out here, if he said that you punched him in the face, you're out here.
He ain't got a mark on him.
He's got proof. Then that's a whole different situation.
I scanned it as a PDF. How do I find that in my phone?
Call Frank the lawyer. He'll send it.
Of course, there's 7,000 pictures
I got
on my
one.
phone. I'm sorry.
What's this guy's name again?
Klein Jude.
Was it?
Klein Jude.
Judd.
Sorry. Klein Judd. That order is expired, it says.
That's the only update. That's I'll see if we can grab it one of
Yeah, no, it says it expired in April.
She's got a lawyer. She's gonna have to sue him for her own stuff. And it sucks.
Exactly.
I hate telling people that.
Door, but it's like, if you don't answer, we'll knock on the door, but like, he doesn't answer. I ran it, and I did go through everything. It just says it's expired. Expired in April.
Right, April 27th, we went back to court. My lawyer's emailing it at a glacial pace.
So what is it gonna say when we see it? Like what are the remedies? Is it your order of protection against him?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, there's been 1,000 remedies, but it is no contact because the last time he physically assaulted me the last time I was trying to let him have visits with the kids. So
That's
that's
what the
what
warrant's
the warrants for assault. And this is like the last thing is just give me my stuff back. He's supposed to pay. He's court ordered to pay money. He hasn't paid.
Right.
He wanted the Jeep dropped off, her Jeep that she had. We dropped it off at the dealership the other day, sent them proof, and they were supposed to come and get the furniture now. Now that we dropped off the Jeep, he don't want to give us the shit now. So, you know what I'm saying? This is fucking monkey games, man.
Yeah.
Clearly he's playing games. And it never works out for the right side. You understand what I mean? It never works out for the person who's trying to do the right thing.
Yeah, I've tried to be fair and peaceful, and I've lost thousands upon thousands of dollars.
Even him threatening me with a gun is a terroristic threatening, ain't it? This kind of bullshit law. I know it's a misdemeanor shit, but
like this is an almost 9-year-long relationship that's ending, and the amount of times I've had to talk to cops because of him is crazy. And Sergeant Svoboda is the only one that took it seriously because he almost killed me.
Trying to get the kids stuff. You don't even have the kids.
And everything in the house I have a receipt for, in a bank statement. He has an itemized list. He knew that we were supposed to come get it.
See it now.
What did you see?
I see the order of protection. I don't see about your items, except for the Jeep. When you said you
I gave it back to him 3 times, and he returns it at 2 o'clock in the morning to wake me up and make me crazy, and then I have to re-return it again, and he acts like I'm holding it hostage. I paid for it, so I wanted at least the money back that I paid for it, but I gave it back for the 3rd time yesterday.
Where's your is your stuff?
It's furniture.
Is it throughout the house?
Yeah, so there's like a pool table and like.
The most thing we're looking to try to get is the kids stuff. In her boxes of baby pictures and shit in the garage. So it's the kids' room is right there, and the baby stuff's here.
I mean, half an hour. You know.
Right. No, I get it. It's just.
But no, it's going to make us keep coming back and spending money, and it's just going to be more and more and more.
I'm not. Here's the thing. If he doesn't let you in, you're gonna have to go about this a different way. I mean, you can't kick the door down.
He closes tomorrow. Like all my stuff is gonna just be gone, and I left with nothing. And I've.
Right.
She left with the kids and lived in a hotel for a month while you stuck to the hotel.
Right.
Come on, man. I mean, can we get a break?
No, we can't.
Do you have any part? Is this his house? His own house?
Financial abuse is a fucked up thing, so everything is in his name, even though I paid for half fucking everything. And all the furniture I paid for, and I'm still letting him keep half of it. Like.
She got receipts for all her credit card with her name.
Right.
I know you guys don't do property shit. I know this is petty for you guys. But come on, man.
I mean, legally we can't kick down a door. I mean, we can go talk to him.
On the door and you can arrest him.
We can go talk to him if he answers and it's him.
Try to do that then.
Yeah, you know he's in there.
Thank you.
But here's the thing: if he tells you can't go in, you can't go in.
I'm gonna go out. Yeah, you called him out.
Do you mind staying back?
I'm sure, buddy.
All right. Sorry, you confused me there. I was like, she doesn't even live here anymore. So how the order even if it was, even if it was.
Keep going. Do you have a PD phone?
It's in the car.
Let me try and call him. She's gonna want to report, just so you're aware.
That's fine. What's the answer?
You go handle.
Okay. Straight to voicemail.
They're not gonna like the outcome of this.
Well, what do we even give for this? Not a violation of an order. It's could give.
Citizen.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You talking about the title of the report?
Yeah.
A citizen assist.
Yeah.
Civil matter.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. It's not criminal. I'm just understanding on someone.
He's not stupid.
Oh no, he's here.
Problem. He's not stupid. That's the problem. You understand our position, right?
I don't. He has an arrest warrant. Why can't you arrest him?
Because we can't just kick in his door. Plus, we didn't even see him.
I saw him.
I understand that. And I'm sorry we can't. I know you don't like this news, and I get it.
Just file it for like the obituary.
We have to know he's there.
I mean, we're trying to exhaust every avenue we can. We knock on the door. I tried calling his number. It's not like
Hey, if you want, I'm asking you, Jess. If you went out force entry right now in front of these guys, they got to come in here and get me and they'll arrest both of us. I'll take one for the team. I'll take one for the fucking team, buddy. You want me to? I'll kick it over right now in front of these guys and we'll go in there and get that bitch motherfucker. I'm sick of him.
No, because what's going to happen is if he's in there, he's going to be ready for that, and then
I hope so.
And then there's going to be a shooting.
He can't shoot. He's a bitch. He ain't got the hair on his nuts to shoot him.
We're not doing none of this.
Okay, you can say what you want. I can go if I want to kick the door. I'll kick the door in front of you. We'll all go to jail right now. I don't care because he's getting away with too much. You guys don't want to help. We sit here.
No.
It's not that we don't want to help.
We know he's in there. He just fucking threatened me with a gun. We know he's in there.
You have to understand. Look, I'm not getting sued for anybody. Do you understand? I'm not going to force the door.
So if I have a warrant, you come to my house, I don't have to open the door for you? That's bullshit.
Yeah, pretty
it's
much.
It's bullshit. No, it ain't. It's fucking bullshit. I've been to jail fucking 100 times, mister. If I got a warrant, you're going to come in there. You're going to pursue me and anything. I've been to jail. If there's an active person in the house with a warrant.
If you're outside and you run inside, yes we're going to go in.
So if you knock on my door and I see you?
We don't even see him. How do I know that he didn't go out the back door? No.
I was watching.
I'm telling you no.
You can tell me what you want. Okay?
You're not kicking the door in.
You can tell me what you want. She's going to make the call. I'll go to jail. I'm not fucked up. Because when we get to jail, I'm going to show with this bitch.
Listen, what is that going to accomplish? You get locked up, he gets locked up, then no one goes inside.
Great. You know what happens?
And then no one goes inside.
Because he's just going to hide out here and disappear again, and she's not going to get her stuff, and we're going to get fucked again every time she's getting fucked.
How does this look on camera to a judge to you right now? How does that look?
You know what, sir? There's a guy in there with a gun who threatened me with a gun, and they're not doing nothing about it. If it was me, Jason Forster, you'd be in there kicking my fucking ass right now, and I'd be getting arrested.
No, you wouldn't. If you were inside in the same situation, the same scenario would be playing out.
So if I go on a run tomorrow and I say you guys can't come to my fucking house, you can't come to my house, I watch the marshals kicking doors all the time for people.
There's a different look.
Jess?
No.
This is, if anything's not going to help, this is not.
No. We're exhausted. He's
I'm very sympathetic. I really am. I really am. I see this all the time. We see it. And I hate it.
So,
but we can't legally kick the door.
I understand. So all of the times that I came to the police station and filed a police report and just aggravated him more, that's for nothing. All of that was for no reason, right? Because there's nothing you can do.
That's a very
beat up girl lady, you can't come outside and face what you got coming for doing it. All right, Judd.
I knew better.
Both go, buddy. Thought you took care of the warrant. Why are you hiding?
You just have to go about this a different way.
I've tried every other way. I've tried every other way.
Both go, bitch.
Look, you said that you could be out of the house some point soon, you're saying, tomorrow?
Well,
you said you have receipts for everything, that's when you have to get a lawyer.
But I don't have receipts with my baby books and the pictures, and I can replace a pool table and my kids' furniture. I can't replace the baby books.
You know.
Public street, right? So he can just stay in a U-Haul and hope for him to change his mind?
Certain amount of time.
Hey,
I mean, yeah, you're on the street.
I can take the lawn furniture out of the backyard, right?
That's also mine. I also have a receipt for that.
I can take the lawn furniture. You gotta come out and stop me if you don't want me, right? Right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Okay, I'm taking it.
I have receipts for that too, and it's on the list.
Still be cautious about that. But what do you think? I mean, it's still his property.
Do you have the stuff on you now, like the
list?
Yeah.
Of what you can.
My bank statements. It took me forever shaking to find the court order. I have the itemized list.
Yeah, that's yeah.
I know that you're trying. I know you are. It's just I'm so frustrated.
Let's just hang out for just a second here until she gets everything, all right? I'm not disagreeing with what you're doing.
There's no trespassing.
It's still his property,
Her address is on her ID. This is her stuff.
Can you just listen to me for
Can you
1
give me
second?
something?
I'm trying to give you something here. Listen. Okay. We're looking at the paperwork. If it's on the list, then sure. But if it's not, don't just go on someone's property and take something. Here's the thing. I get it. You guys have a lot of history with this guy.
If he's a homeowner and he's home, he'll stop me, right? If you don't mind me taking it, he'll stop me, right?
Just because there's property on someone else's lawn, you can't just take it though.
He's home and he don't care.
That's still you can't do that.
He's saying I can take it right now because he would come out here and say, "Officer, arrest him for stealing my shit."
That's not what he's saying.
What's he saying right now?
He leaves his own property on his property and he has an expectation to leave it there.
Okay, and this ain't his property; it's her property. She has receipts for it. She left it here because she couldn't take it because he's an abusive fucker.
We're trying to figure that all out. Okay, we can only do certain things at certain times here.
Can we just do either this furniture or I kick the door without go? One or two is gonna happen today because I'm fucking just off the chain. I've been doing this prick for months, sir.
I know.
I'm sorry, Gomez. It's not your fault. Sir, it's not your fault. Okay, I know that. But you got to give me something here. We rented the goddamn truck.
Which is what we're trying to do. I'm just saying, look, put the chairs down for a second. We got to see the paperwork.
All right, I'll wait here with the paperwork. I'll just get it ready.
Okay, let's just get off his property for a second.
There's not a no trespassing sign posted. The owner of the house did not tell me to get off the
I
property.
know. Look, I'm just.
The owner of his house told me to get off the property.
Can you just bear with me for a couple of seconds? I am listening to what you're saying.
No, he has not come out here and told me to get off the property. There's not a no trespassing sign posted. I have legal right to be on the property. You can be on people's property as long as there's no trespassing. I went through this. I've studied law. I've been in prison for fucking 10 years in federal prison. I know about this shit, man.
But you can't be taking things off someone's lawn, though.
I can put it on here.
You cannot be going on the property to take it. That's also law. You can't do that
Okay,
either.
what am I doing? Who said I'm taking it? The lawyer said we can have it.
Look, I'm still waiting to see the paperwork on that.
You have the kids?
Thank God. I mean, he's trying to prove me unfit so he can take them. He can't even take care of fish, let alone my kids.
Well, with him, with your friend, that does not help your
I know,
case
he's
at all. I get
crazy.
He's passionate about the situation. I get it, but if he's recording from inside, showing the people that you're hanging out with, that does not help you either.
I mean, I'm the only one that can calm him down. You couldn't stop him from doing that, you know? So I'm trying to help you and to help him not go to jail. But, like, the only way that I can even do anything is if I have a man with me. Mm-hmm. So this is the list that I sent to my lawyer, and that was approved. And there's, like I said, there's a million motions.
Patio furniture?
Yeah.
And this was agreed upon?
It was.
Is that his
that's
lawyer?
the paralegal with, his people.
All right. Patio furniture. Mm-hmm. All right, let's go get the patio furniture.
As far as you know, you said you can't say that he had a gun? Well, you don't know. He didn't tell me I could come get the shit. He told me I could come get the shit.
I showed him the list.
Okay, what's the list say? Okay, all right, we're good. All right.
I'm sorry.
Sorry, guys. This is so fucking frustrating.
Look,
money after money, and he just takes advantage of her. He can beat her up, but he can't come out here and fuck with me. Pussy ass bitch. That's a security warrant.
That's how abusers are.
Weak bitch, motherfucker. I hate him.
I just don't want shots ringing out from inside the house.
He's going to fucking jail. He can't hit shit. Fuck him. He's a bitch. He won't shoot nothing. Bitch made motherfucker.
There's neighbors here? Yeah, there's neighbors.
Okay. All right, hey.
Stop yelling.
I don't want you yelling right now because there's neighbors hearing you.
I want the neighbors to hear.
No, they can't. Legally, no, dude, we cannot be doing this. You can take what you want to take, but you can't be screaming and yelling like that, all right?
Nah. It was so much easier, Judd. You little bitch. Where's your new girlfriend thinking about you harassing your old girlfriend?
He had a Dodge Charger. He just totaled that one. He totaled every car he's seen already. I'm not exactly sure what he's driving right now.
I appreciate you guys. I'm not going to try to take your family apart. I'm not going to keep you here that long, man.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, man. Sorry, I'm fucking being so mad.
Look, I get it.
But every time I ever done something, motherfucking cops came and got me, no fucking problem. In my grandma's house, they came to the goddamn door and took me out. I don't know you guys are trained in mental health now. Whatever the fuck that means. Alright, Judge. I'll be back in about an hour. If shit changes, we'll go through this again. I'm gonna go get you some no trespassing signs, quick. Fucking bitch, made motherfucker.
No shift changes. 6 p.m.
Yeah.
Just to be fair, shift changes at 6 p.m.
6 p.m. Okay. Oh, 3 to 11, 7, yeah.
We work 12.
Oh yeah, I'll be back for this motherfucker. Alright, dickhead. I'll be back. Then when you go to leave, you go get the trespassing sign, you get your bitch ass arrested.
Sit down the street.
Maybe we'll just start off with kicking the door next time.
What'd you say?
Sit down the street. Look for one of these. Look for one.
Yeah.
Yep. You know what's in there? We got proof of residency, proof of life.
Wait, did you hear him just now? Huh? Did you hear him just now? No. Okay. You know, I mean, we got an active warrant. I mean, if he would have answered it, I had no problem locking him up. Problem is, we knew he wasn't going to answer from the get-go.
I'm not getting sued.
No, I am 100% with you right there. Even if the order was valid, you still can't be coming up here to him. See what I'm saying? Especially when you don't live here anymore. That's why I went over my head when you were talking. I'm like, it doesn't matter. It was like I was thinking something else. I mean,
I'm gonna talk to her again.
okay, go ahead.
So I saw that your next court date's the 26th. That's what it says. Make sure that they enter it into the system so that we can see it without having to.
Why didn't they enter it last time?
I have no idea.
No, it's not your job.
And then do that, and then go to what town do you live in? Go to protection against this person. I want to make sure it's in the system. If not, they can go to help you a little bit more.
I didn't mean to get fucking rowdy with you, but you can go back and forth. Imagine if it was your daughter out here.
I'd be mad. Okay, I'm not gonna deny that. Okay?
Imagine if it was your old lady doing this to you.
I'd be leaving. I'd be leaving. You could have the house and everything. I'm out. I'll give him a call.
You got my phone ringing over there? Okay, it's echoing.
Good morning. How you doing? Afternoon, sorry. 2 o'clock p.m. Okay. Are you home right now or no?
Sorry, he's moving out. That's all we can get is whatever's outside.
Something like that. But so you don't live here anymore? You're saying you live in Arkansas? Okay.
Hey, it's Frank. You want to talk to him?
You tell me what I'm doing.
Okay. Okay. Well, look.
Ask them why. Okay. Ask them why there was a sighting.
Okay. All right. 2 things. Number 1, order of protection is no longer valid. Number 2, if you sold the property, you can't tell who can't stay or can't be here. I mean, here's the thing. There's also in her order of protection or whatever from her judge, whatever's the court order. The thing is that whatever's in the backyard's hers. I'm trying to lay out to you right now.
Did you guys move the cameras?
Who bought the cameras?
No, I'm asking. I'm just facing away. I'm asking you guys. Oh.
I showed them the new one. They didn't file it.
Yeah, she bought them.
In the actual court order, she's got that. She can't go in there. She can't go in there. You see what I'm saying? She showed it, yeah.
This is horrible out here.
Of what belongs to her part of the patio or the list that was given?
Excuse me.
It's still in dispute. Well, do you have anything to show for that?
She's got an itemized list.
Hold on, let me talk, hold on. I just spoke to I'm not speaking to your attorney, but I'm going to talk to you. I'm going to tell you right now, there's an itemized list for that. The itemized list does show the patio furniture.
You want some pictures? You can come out and file a report. That'd be great. You
Well, if that's the case, then she lied about it. Okay, then you deal with it. But it's
a station to file a report.
Then you come to the station to file a report. Then, if that's the case.
Come outside and file a report, dickhead. Stop. Come on, motherfucker.
Be here to actually say it and have signs posted. They're leaving. I mean, they're flat out leaving at this point. Well, they said that you had an agreement to get the stuff today. Is that correct or wrong? Okay, well, if that's a misunderstanding on their part, that's a misunderstanding.
Come outside.
Which there is an itemized list. I'm telling you.
I thought that we could hear with crazies.
Like I said, if they're lying about it, you file a report at the station.
What? Who's he file a report? Tell him to come outside and file a report.
Okay.
Come outside and file a report, bitch. You know you're home.
That's helpful. You're really helping.
Hey, Stone. There is an itemized list. I'm telling you.
Hey, Reese, come outside and talk to him. Hi, in your house.
Here with crazies.
Like I said, if they're lying about it, you file a report at the station.
What? Who's he file a report? Tell him to come outside and file a report.
Okay.
Come outside and file a report, bitch. You know you're home.
That's helpful. You're really helping.
Hey, Stone.
All right, I'm sorry.
I wouldn't say anything right now. It's
Okay,
probably a bad
that's no
time.
problem.
Hey, don't
Okay.
just
Who, him?
stop.
Who is he?
He's a neighbor.
He's nobody, yeah.
He's got a right to.
I got no problem.
He's
Yes,
got a
you're
right
right.
to peace in his home.
Look, number one, he's saying he ain't here. And if he's saying it, we're going to go off that because you got the stuff that you got right now. Now the neighbors are coming outside. We just want to take what we can get from now and take that as a win.
You didn't hear me knocking when he was on the phone? I was knocking. You should have heard that go. You know what I did for most of my life? I was a repo man on the south side of Chicago. Cars. So I know all this shit.
No, he's saying a neighbor called him. He's playing everything.
He's in the house.
I'm not saying he's not.
Bet you if I kick the door, you'll be in there, bitch.
Look, stop.
Come on,
Look,
man.
Sorry.
I bet you
Please not talk about this. Please not talk about me making more mad, please. Just, thank you. You guys be cool. I'll be cool. We're taking our stuff when we leave. Wait.
You can park on the street for how long? It's a public street, right? Okay.
He can come out here and talk
I'm
to us.
trying to micromanage the terms and conditions of an order of protection.
You said he took your warrant.
Him, like it makes no sense.
What you said? Your lawyer's contacting you.
My lawyer and his lawyer are going back and forth because
He said he took care of the warrant. And he told me, I took care of the warrant. You're going to jail, fucker. That's what he told me. I said, I'm staying here.
he's trying to say that I have to give him an address now to drop off the stuff. But he won't do that. He won't do that. He's just trying to play. He's trying to solve so that I don't. That's what he's doing.
Sorry?
It's helping moving all that down.
No, I'm fucking even more wound up.
Okay, so.
That just look like this.
Look, let me just talk to you for a second. You're trying to do everything you can, that's right. We respect that. But you also got to understand that if he's playing everything smartly a game of chess.
He's not, though.
He's saying,
I've seen his queen 3 spaces, but that's why I got her.
Look, there's things that you've been doing, like screaming all that. Don't keep doing that, man. Like, you're giving him something to give to us for against you. We don't want that. Okay, so we've been trying to help you, okay?
I can voice my opinion, I can speak whatever I want, right?
Not be yelling.
I can protest. I can protest.
That's where there's freedom of speech, but not freedom from consequences of the speech.
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
You're right.
Okay.
There you go. I like that. Words have meaning, right?
Is there anything else back there?
I have no idea.
I hope I can see him in the window. He calls him in the window and he see me. You can go get him, right?
He's not going to come in the window.
Fuck you. Thank you, guys, man. Sorry for being a dickhead. I'm just so worked up. Here's your daughter. Here you go. Here's the same thing for your daughter.
The itemized list. Where did you see that on?
She has it on her.
Okay. Can I see that itemized list? Just to see it. I mean, I know he told me about it. I just wanted to see it.
I can forward it to you, though. I have to go get my kids.
10-4. This is a report number just to document everything that happened today. Please send me all the court information you have, the itemized list, because this is going to be one of those uphill battles. Look, I understand you guys are trying to get your stuff here, but he's also setting you guys up for failure too. See what I'm saying? It's a game of chess here, and
he loves playing.
Don't play the game. It's not worth it.
I want to stop playing the game and get my shit. You know,
right.
But I can't do that because he's insane. So,
Take for the kids. Give me the kids. Yes, Mom.
That was a civil list then, huh?
Yeah, it came from what she said is a paralegal from his lawyer.
Okay. Because he was trying to argue they were like still pending and all that, and then they're not supposed to be there. I'm like, well, if you sold the property, then how are you? Oh no, it's being sold tomorrow. I'm like they're already here getting the stuff. Unless you're gonna come outside and tell him to leave. Like you said, he's in Kansas right now, so.
I just seen him. He's in Kansas.
I'm not.
I know. I'm
not disputing it. We're not.
So listen, they sell the house tomorrow, right? Or the 19th. So once he sells the house, he's no longer in possession of the house, right? It's not his house. So if I show up out here with my Uber truck, and the 19th when they close, I'm just asking you a question.
We can't.
Are you working on the 19th?
We can't give advice.
Okay.
All right. Okay. I see where you're going. It might be something I do, but I can't give you advice. Okay.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I appreciate you, man. I'm sorry.
Are you driving this?
I'm gonna pull it out. Yeah.
All right. We can't leave until you're at least down the driveway.
Okay. I'm just waiting for a tie down if shit don't fucking.
Okay.
Okay. That's her. He's getting all like legal on the phone with me, and I'm like, whatever. Like, we're not gonna argue over this. You ever dealt with these people before?
Nope.
I kind of remember Mark talking about this once, but I look into it.
No idea. I just happened to be looking through the warrant list that Gorski sent out and saw this address. That's why it.
Yeah, it started clicking.
Because I was thinking about the warrant before it occurred.
Right. No.
You know everything there now.
Where?
That window right there.
Think he just fucked up his chest move, guys. Let's go. He just fucked up his chest move. Call him back. Tell me
You have to be yelling about everything?
Yes. I'm hard of hearing. I have a disability. No, I don't get it here. Many checks. He's arrogant. Man, I want to kick that door so bad, you really fucker. It'd be so worth it. Who's got the taser? Okay, I want you. Fuck. I know we need a bigger truck next time. That's with the goddamn yard furniture here. I don't know the house furniture. Fuck.
y'all. My name is JD DeLay. I'm a recovery coach, a peer support recovery specialist, and a smart recovery facilitator. I'm also somebody who is a childhood sexual assault survivor, and I've been diagnosed with CPTSD. And I'm also a husband to the most incredible woman that I've ever known. Her name is Jax. She is also a sexual assault survivor and was in a long-term domestic violence situation. She has been diagnosed with CPTSD and battered spouse syndrome. Being in any relationship is going to be complicated enough, but being in a relationship with somebody who has survived trauma and abuse for years on end has added complications, and I just wanted to talk to you guys about some of the ways that I've been able to learn to mitigate those with my wife. Now, having said what I just said, I also think that it's really important to acknowledge that this relationship is by far the healthiest, most fulfilling relationship that I've ever been in my life. It is absolutely worth the extra work that we have both put in to be able to help each other through the times that we've been through. So if you've seen any of my other content on my own personal socials, you probably know that this is not my normal voice that I talk in. This is the voice, in fact, though, that I speak to my wife in. Normally, I'm kind of boisterous, I'm kind of loud. I was a singer in metal and punk bands for most of my life, but I saw the effect that the loud noises were having on her, and I started using the same exact voice that I use in my therapy sessions, my coaching sessions, and when I'm teaching classes on recovery, when I talk to my wife, because it just works easier for her. And another one just right off the top that became glaringly obvious was fast, sudden movements anywhere around her would trigger her. Seeing the woman that you love recoil in fear when you're just doing what you do, just having a normal day, but you moved too fast and too suddenly, and it triggered something inside of her that sent her to a bad place, is absolutely agonizing for both of you. So I have learned to move slowly and deliberately when I'm around my wife. And I gave you these two examples because they're really easy, they're really basic, they were the most glaringly obvious things that triggered her. What's important is to figure out what your wife or your partner's triggers look like so that you can modify your behaviors so that you guys can flow more congruently. But to find what their triggers are, people's triggers represent and present in different types of ways. The main categories of ways that people react when they're triggered are fight, flight, fawn, and freeze. Fighting doesn't have to be physical, man. It could be verbal, it could be mental, it could be emotional. Flight doesn't have to be a physical retreat either. It can be disassociating, it can be being quiet. There are so many different ways that someone can retreat inside themselves without running out of the room. And if you can watch and identify these things, then you can identify the things that are triggering your partner. Have you ever met somebody that compulsively apologizes? They're just constantly saying they're sorry, even when they don't need to be. This is a symptom of fawning. Fawning is where you're completely and totally compliant. They're over accommodating and they're very proactive to do whatever they can so that they don't set the other person off. Now, freezing can look a lot like disassociating, but it's not the same thing. If somebody disassociates, they mentally take themselves to a completely different place. Freezing is when they're just in a panic mode and they're stuck in the moment and they just can't move. And all of these things can present on a whole spectrum, so you have to be in tune with your partner. You have to be able to identify when they're going all the way or just part way into one of these things so that you can know which behaviors are triggering these reactions out of them, because nobody wants to send their partner into an unhealthy place. I mean, unless you're a complete and total piece of shit. And since there's so many different forms of abuse, there are so many different complex types of triggers to look for. I remember the first time that I sent Jax out with my card to go buy us stuff, and she came back with almost nothing, and she looked afraid to show me what she had got and what she had spent, like I was going to be mad. That was the exact product of the way that she was treated in her last relationship, because she was suffering from financial abuse. Our first Christmas that we lived together, we were putting up the tree and we were having a great time. And I saw something in her sink, and then she started to talk, and she was like, I didn't know that it could be like this. I was expecting there to be yelling. I was expecting there to be throwing stuff, and none of this is like this. And what she was realizing was that she had been made to be accustomed to such a terrible way of life for so long that it had become normal to her, but none of it was normal. We had been married for almost 2 years before Jax felt safe enough to cook for me, because every single time that she had cooked in her past relationship, she had gotten demeaned, screamed at, had things thrown at her, because dude did not think her cooking was up to par. My wife is a whole gourmet cook, homie. Let me just tell you, I was absolutely blown away. I had been doing the cooking for so long, and she would take up other parts of the household chores, and it was all because she had been trained that she was not a good cook, and the reaction to her cooking was not going to be safe. But yo, let me tell you now, I eat foods that I didn't know could taste that way because I created and cultivated a safe space for her to get back into something that she's actually really passionate about doing. And the more that you cultivate a safe space for your partner, the more amazing you are going to find your partner to be. The more things they're going to be able to share with you about themselves. If you ask me, that's the whole point of relationships, to be able to see each other for who you truly are. The faults, the goods, the good times, the bad. That is where you get really deeply intimate, and that relationship becomes something even more intrinsic than anything you could have had in the past. And for all the guys out there, just so you know, the more safe you make your partner feel, and the more you let her know that it's okay for her to be herself, the more fun you guys are gonna have in bed. I promise you, it's all worth it. So regardless of what your gender is or who your partner is, I encourage you to learn them. I encourage you to learn what triggers them. I encourage you to find ways that you can mitigate those triggers so that you can find a safe space where both of you can be absolutely yourselves with each other, because that is going to cultivate an amazing relationship. I love y'all. I'm not going to hijack the rest of Jess's video. I'll talk to y'all later.
So going back in time a little bit, this next clip is from December of last year. It's Christmas Day. This is just a really good example of how when you're dealing with a narcissistic person or a toxic person or an abusive person, they will go out of their way to ruin holidays. So he was supposed to be at my house for Christmas with the kids from a specific time to a specific time. He showed up like 4 or 5 hours late with the excuse that someone was trying to break into his house. And that's what this body cam footage is. There was no footprints in the snow. There was nothing, no forced entry, no sign of anyone being there. This was just an excuse to justify why he was like 4 or 5 hours late. I don't know, but this is just a really good example. You know, they'll ruin holidays, or they'll show up really late and then leave really early, or create some drama. So that's what this is.
Did have a break-in the other day and I stole a laptop and a few things, so I was worried about this.
No, you're fine now. It's always better safe than sorry, right?
Yeah.
Alright, so, just briefing, how do you find out this? It was, did you get notifications about someone just being inside the house?
I have a disc alarm too. Here. This one.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you didn't see anyone, right?
It's gone off like 3 times today. So,
okay.
Yeah. Alright. It made me nervous when I wasn't here because, like I said, I've been called the police report on the break-in the other day.
Judd is your first name?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, Jason Greer on here.
Who else besides you has access to the house, if you don't mind me asking?
Just me. I've changed the locks since the break-in the other day.
Okay. You had a break-in?
Well, yeah, but I'll have to go file the police report tomorrow.
Okay.
Probably say some close today. Christmas.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, my bad. I'm sorry. You have an address from. So is this your current address?
Yes.
What is it? So what I can do for you is I can have another if you want to do that report, the one that you were talking about.
Yeah.
I'll have an officer stop by since this is his area.
Okay.
I'll just let him know that there was an incident in which for the same house.
Yeah.
Do you have cameras for that?
I do for that one.
Okay.
Yeah, they recorded in and outs and then.
All right. I'll let him know. Therefore, he can come and just take the report on this. Okay.
I'm supposed to be over having dinner right now. What time's he going to be there?
That's a good question. I mean, if you don't got time today, you can always go to the PD and just follow.
Let me call her real quick, and I'm sure I'm already in the shit house for not being there.
Do you want this officer to contact you just to see if you're here? Okay.
Yes.
All right. I'll let him know. All right, sir.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Not a problem.
Well, healing. This episode discusses abuse and suicide, which may be triggering to some people. Evan, I can't thank you enough for coming in and talking with me. Your perspective as a survivor is remarkable in and of itself, but you also use your platform to change laws. And that is such an important part of your story for us to learn from your journey of survivorship. To me, that's the focus of the story. So to that end, I want to hear from you, and you can start talking about what's happened to you anywhere you want to begin.
I almost want to start after the abuse and my experience with narcissism in the aftermath, because I remember going through a lot of that thinking, we don't talk about this enough. We don't talk about how this feels. You know, when you hear those things like, why didn't you say anything sooner? Or why didn't you respond this way? Or why didn't you do that? Or why didn't you do this? It just suddenly becomes so clear when you've sat in that space why you don't. It just took me so many years to feel like I was capable enough or strong enough or clear enough about what had happened to me to be able to face what I knew I was going to be up against. I started speaking about my sexual assault sort of right before the big internet Me Too hashtag movement happened. And around that time, my nervous system and my stress and the weight of it all became so intense that I started a seizure. I started having stress seizures. And when I realized just what a physical impact this was having on me, and it was making it nearly impossible to just move about my life normally and comfortably and safely, that was such a breaking point for me. That's when I just knew that I wasn't going to be able to stay quiet. I realized that my silence was keeping me really sick.
I always believe that we always should use names and terms that survivors are comfortable with. How do you refer to this person?
I refer to him as Brian. He is the one that created the name Marilyn Manson, and he was the one that told us all to call him Manson. But to me, that kind of feels like a cult leader asking you to call them Papa or Vanguards, like this title that he's giving himself to fit whatever image he has of himself. And I didn't want to give him that power anymore. And so I just use his real name, Brian.
Okay. So I want to go back to a couple of things you said, is that there's a way we think a survivor is supposed to respond. When you think of it that way, I think it would be useful for people to hear what a trope that thing is. What was in your mind sort of how one is supposed to respond when they're a survivor of sexual assault or any form of trauma?
There's this idea that something bad happens to you, you know it's bad, you immediately react and you immediately respond or defend yourself. Right. And it's just cut and dry, black and white. This is good, this is bad. And if something feels bad, then you should say something or something. But it just completely erases so much of the human experience and of the psychological manipulation and torment that you go through, especially when you're dealing with a narcissist and especially when it's an intimate partner. And there's so many other dynamics coming into play. I was faced with a lot of the narcissistic abuse I suffered. I was a teenager. I was so ill-equipped. My brain wasn't even really done forming.
It wasn't.
I was just speaking to somebody the other day, and they said, well, surely, you know, when you're raped and you go to the police, something happens, and they come after the person, and I had to stop them and just say, whoa.
I'm not sure what happy
There's a million other
you
steps, that come into play here before this happens. But people had this idea that people just come and take the bad guy away if somebody did something bad, and when I say things like the system is corrupt, that means, that means the laws, that means the courts, that means lawyers, that means law enforcement. A lot of times as a survivor, there's no easy way out.
If a person doesn't say something, Evan, especially in proximity to the thing that happened, the belief is, well, maybe it wasn't that bad because they're not. So if a bad thing happened, we would have said something right away, right? So that's a complete disregard of everything we know about trauma systems in the brain and in the body and how healing works. Then you add the historical context that most survivors of rape and sexual assault are not believed. And that not believing gets magnified under a whole host of circumstances. Were you drinking? Did you go there voluntarily? The race of the person making the report, the social class of the person making the report, all of those things undercut the likelihood that this will ever be taken seriously, which is a re-traumatization, which will put a person back even further. And so the entire system is conspired against anybody feeling that they could safely make a report. And so there was a process for you before you were able to come out and speak. And I think people need to understand it wasn't that something terrible happened on a Wednesday and by the following Wednesday or the day after you spoke up. Because when you first spoke out, you did not even name your perpetrator.
No,
you simply said this happened. So starting the story there that I finally spoke out.
Yeah.
Okay. So then what?
Or just like finally getting out and at first just wanting to, the first step was finally made it out. I convinced him that it was his idea to let me go because that's essentially what I felt like I had to do. I really had to study him for years and understand his gaslighting and manipulation. And I just knew that I was never going to get out if I was pulling away from him or if it was my choice to escape. I had to somehow play dead and give him something that was undesirable to make him feel like it was his idea to let me go.
How did you do that?
There was a moment when I felt like I'm so afraid of this person. I've been threatened so many times, either with, blackmail or with force. And if I stay here because I'm too scared to leave, I feel like I'm dead anyway. I don't feel like a human. I feel like a shell of a person. And so staying kind of felt like a death sentence.
Yeah.
Leaving also felt terrifying because something could happen to me or he could come after me and so I kind of felt like, well, either way, I feel dead, so I may as well try to escape. I'd rather die trying to get out. Then I remember realizing that a lot of what he fed off of was my fear that he was going to do something. Like that was the power that he had over me. I could embarrass you. I've got information on you. I've got photos of you. I've got you doing things that would humiliate you. When that finally clicked, I released any sense of trying to have any control over the situation and just kind of surrendered to what the situation was, which was just, look, if you stay, you're dead. If you leave, you're dead. So I didn't really fight back. I didn't really react or seem hurt. I kind of just went, I think they call it going gray rock.
Okay, so I want to break that down
Yeah.
though. Is gray rocking is that process where you render yourself to be a gray rock, as dull, as non-responsive, as unnoticeable. So when you're not responding either with fear or trying to appease them or trying to get into it with them or explain yourself, the goal is that they would get disinterested and move on to new supply. Gray rock's a tricky strategy because in many cases what it can do is it leaves the narcissistic person unsupplied and they get more agitated. And their power over you is to get these strong, emotional, almost erratic reactions out of the person they're targeting. This is now psychological, right? They will get more frothed up. Okay, you think you're going to play this game? I am going to share those pictures with the world. Which they do. And so what happens is if you can tolerate the menace and you can come around the other side of the bend, they will ultimately get bored. Because now it's just sort of they're exhausting themselves in the process of trying to break some and they could just move on to new supply. But a lot of people cannot weather that sort of gray rock agitation, as I call it. But in your case, you did gray rock. And how did that get you to the place, though, where it felt like his idea that this was no longer working?
Well, exactly what you just described. I wasn't trying to defend myself. I wasn't trying to talk him off the ledge. I wasn't doing all the things that I normally did. And one thing he was doing with me as well is that reactive abuse where he would sort of push me to the point of breakdown where I'd either be having a panic attack, I'd be shaking, I'd be screaming. I'd want to reach out for help. And then he would tell people something else was happening. Like anybody like in his inner circles. One time he told somebody that I slit my wrist to get his attention, or that I cheated on him, or like he just kept telling people all these things had happened that weren't happening to set me up. If I ever did reach out for help, if I ever did try to explain to people what was happening, they've already heard a completely different story. Like he's already gotten ahead of it. I made this mistake with a couple of narcissists in my life before I knew they were narcissists. Of if I could just show this person how much pain I'm in, they'll stop because I'm dying. I'm collapsed on the floor. I'm in a pool of tears. I'm pulling my hair out. I'm screaming. I'm cutting myself. I'm clearly in pain. And of course they'll stop. And they never do. They use it to their advantage even more.
Oh, absolutely. Well, but when there's no empathy, all the rules are out the window, right? See, that's the piece. What you described is I would show them my pain. I would fall to the ground in my pain in the expectation.
And not in a performative way, in a
like
genuine way. Like,
you're
this is how I'm
devastated.
feeling.
Yes, you're devastated. What happens is that when a person goes through any form of narcissistic or psychopathic or antagonistic relationship where there's so much invalidation, there's so little empathy, you're not having that fall to the ground, panicked, distressed response the first time. This is after hundreds of times of being exposed to this, right? It's relentless. And so there's a point at which it's unendurable, and that you think that within this person, I saw it for a minute at the beginning. I know it's there. When maybe they're not seeing how much pain I'm in, and they will see how much pain I'm in. Maybe they're not fully getting it. Maybe they just think this is an exchange. And when you go to this, it's really complete and utter exhaustion and breakdown. That's just game on for them.
Exactly. And that's what I learned through trial and error.
Yes. That, Evan, is the norm. I think that this is where it's so important you laid this dynamic out, because that's every survivor's sort of mantle they wear. Maybe I'm not being clear. And if I was clear, they'd get it, because that's the hope, that's the trauma bond. When you started gray rocking, did you experience the escalation I was talking about?
Yes.
That you did. So you were holding back, and then the escalation.
Yes.
And what did that look like?
So at one point, he was threatening to go over to somebody's house that I knew, and I was scared, but I also knew him well enough at that point. First of all, he doesn't have a driver's license because he gets everybody to do everything for him. So I was like, well, first of all, you don't drive. You're not going to go anywhere. But I remember him getting dressed, saying he was going to go to this person's house, and it was very threatening. He was demanding the address, and I just didn't react. I just kept saying, okay, yep, yeah, if that's what you want to do. And they ended up not doing anything and not going anywhere. And that was sort of the first kind of call their bluff thing.
Yes.
And then I wouldn't laugh at their jokes. Like, they were always incredibly inappropriate. And one of the ways they really tested the people around them and incriminated them in things was by, there was sort of a code of conduct for how you needed to act. Rule number one was always just keep him happy and keep things de-escalated. And one way to do that was just laughing at the terrible jokes, joining in with things that were highly inappropriate. You feel like, yeah, I'm on your side. I'm trustworthy because I'm joining in with you. And so you're not going to come after me because I'm sort of being just as disgusting. And after a while, I was like, I can't do this anymore. And so I stopped. And I stopped performing in front of people, which was a big thing too.
What do you mean by performing in front of people?
So like people would come to the house, usually like a famous person or somebody that he needed to do a job. It was either status or servitude. The only way he would interact with people is if he was getting one of these two things out of the relationship. He didn't just have friends that he hung out with, that he connected with, that we just enjoy each other's company. There's an exchange here. I'm getting something from this. And so it was always a big deal when someone came to the house, because it was almost like a show. It was like we had to put on a show for these people. And he liked having me around, I think, because I brought some status. I could wait on them, bring out drinks and do these things, and it made him seem very powerful. And if you did things wrong, you would hear about it when the people left. So everything would be fine when the people were there. You would act like we've got this great relationship. Sometimes he would say demeaning things or do something, and literally sometimes it would be so horrible that the guests would think he was kidding.
Yeah.
And they would lean over to me and they
right.
would say, he's kidding though, right? And I would just sort of have to shrug and look at them like, no, but I can't say anything because he's right there and
Right.
I'm going to hear about it later.
It's what I call sort of the dinner party paradox of the narcissistic relationship, right? Oh, they're great. Like, you guys are great
I've
together.
seen you
This is
guys
great.
together. I've never seen anything like that.
And
Yeah, people
the
don't see
door
it.
closes. And the other place this happens in a pronounced way is in cars. The event is done. You're in the car and the gloves come off and you can't
Or
get
the
out of
elevator.
a car,
Yeah.
right? Like, a car is the worst because if this thing's hurtling down the freeway at 70 miles an hour, there's no getting out. That moment is such a signature move in any narcissistic relationship, which means then as the evening's going on, there is this sense of dread that overwhelms you and completely clench when you're thinking, did I say that wrong?
You're walking on eggshells.
This is shards of glass.
Shards of glass.
At this point, eggshells left the room a long time ago,
Yeah.
right? But you know what's coming because there's no way you would have hit every beat perfectly because you can't read someone else's mind.
No. Well, and they're looking for something too.
Yes.
I remember one time I got in trouble because I gave the guests water when they arrived, but I gave them to them in plastic bottles instead of glasses. And it turned into like being up all night, just getting berated and yelled at about how you either don't care or you're making them look bad or this is how things need to be when people show up and here's what needs to change and here's it just like it's the constant criticism, it doesn't matter what you do, they are going to find something. It's a game you cannot win. And they're just going to keep moving the goalposts and they're just going to keep upping the ante to keep you destabilized and apologizing and constantly trying to please them so that you're not looking at the horrible things that they're doing. And God forbid you ever try to like call them out or turn it around on them.
No.
I just knew not to do that.
Evan, you're talking about, you were translating into Grey Rock. How much of it at that point, though, was a frank trauma response? So what you know
I
what
think
I'm
most
saying?
of it, yeah.
You know,
it wasn't even necessarily a conscious thing. No.
That's what I'm hearing. It's not even the intentionality that Grey Rock can sometimes
I didn't know Grey
imply.
Rock was a
You didn't know what it was a
thing.
thing, right? So what you were experiencing was dissociation and numbness.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're talking about the most severe levels of narcissistic abuse, that I would definitely was what your experience was. It is traumatic, right? You start getting into the territory of complex trauma, of severe relational trauma. And at that point, a person is now dissociated. They're numb. It's like the soul has left the body kind of thing. Actually, in a way, they've annexed you. You're done. Like it's a horrifying sense of disposability, as though they've emptied out the bottle.
That's
and there's
exactly
no need for you.
how it felt.
Mm-hmm.
It just felt like he's kind of pawing at me while I lay on the ground, like, oh, I think this one's done.
Yes.
And then I definitely noticed him getting bored with me. And then I got a part in a movie, and that's what got me out of the house. He still tried to call me a few times after that, but I got the nerve to hang up on him and change my number. And normally he would just keep calling and keep finding ways around that. But that last time, after I changed my number, he seemed to sort of fall back and move on to the next supply.
Okay. All right. So,
which I'm sure he already had in the chamber. You know,
there always is somebody in these relationships.
And with him, that was
in 2000.
If you're struggling in active addiction, I'm a partner with Groups Recover Together. Groups is very unique in that they help you from day one all the way through to get your life back on track. They can help you with SNAP, with housing, with clothing, with getting an ID, and they genuinely are there and they care about the entire process of getting your life together. This is not just harm reduction. This is not just detox. It's not just MAT. It's not just therapy. It's not just getting your life back together. It's everything all in one. And they help, like I said, from start to finish. So I am a proud partner with Groups Recover. I will link all of the information down below, as well as my very own landing page with Groups and my hotline number. Thank you so much, Groups, for allowing me to be part of your amazing program. I want to end this video by saying I have a mountain of evidence that I was being stalked, harassed, abused, physically, emotionally, financially, and the system failed to protect me, and the cops tried. You guys will see them try. I love you guys, and I will see you in the next one. Yeah, I'm not really sure who to ask about this, but I had a domestic violence case, and
My abuser was charged with assault, and his attorney told my attorney that he pled guilty to that, but I wasn't notified, so I was just wondering if I was supposed to be notified.